All right, let's dive right into a story about power, prophecy, and a promise that gets completely forgotten. This is a tale of two men whose fates are hanging by a thread, and it all gets decided in one single fateful night.
You know, in a world of absolute power, being close to the king, well, it's everything. It's wealth, it's influence, it's honor. But here's the thing, it is also a blade held right to your throat. One wrong move, one tiny imperfection, and that very same favor can cut you down. This is a lesson that two of Pharaoh's most trusted servants are about to learn the hard way.
So our story kicks off in the dazzling halls of Pharaoh's court, a place where perfection isn't just a goal, it is the only standard. And Pharaoh himself, he's this huge figure of authority, always watching, super critical, with a temper that can go from 0 to 100 in a heartbeat. For the people serving him, every single day is basically a test of survival.
First up, we meet the chief butler. This guy's a man of precision, right? His hands are rock steady from years of service. He walks up to the throne, pours the royal wine with this perfectly practiced respect. He gets it. He knows how high the stakes are.
And then there's the chief baker. He's proud of his work, for sure, but you can just feel the stress coming off him. I mean, the king's standards are impossible. He presents the bread, baked just for Pharaoh. Two completely routine actions that are about to go horribly wrong.
And boom, the whole atmosphere just shatters. You can hear the whispers ripple through the court. This is more than a mistake. It's an insult, a serious offense. It's a breakdown in the perfection Pharaoh demands. And you see the king's face just darken. The sword of favor is about to fall.
And just like that, their world completely collapses. The bright, golden court, gone. Replaced by the cold, gray reality of stone walls and shadows. Pharaoh's anger is fast and it's final. Both men are thrown into the prison, run by the captain of the guard.
Now time itself becomes their enemy. For an entire year, the former butler and baker are just left there. Left to wonder, to fear, to fall into despair. Every single day is a battle with this terrifying unknown. Have they been forgotten? Or is something even worse just around the corner?
Now here's where things get really interesting, because of who they meet inside. Joseph. He's not just another prisoner suffering with them. He's got this quiet confidence, this disciplined calm about him. The captain of the guard actually assigns him to look after these two disgraced officials, and he becomes this steadying presence in their totally chaotic new lives.
So after a year of this agonizing wait, everything is about to change. In the span of just one night, both men had these incredibly vivid, disturbing dreams. They have no idea, but these visions hold the keys to their very different futures. Their destinies are about to be revealed.
The next morning, Joseph sees it right away. The distress is written all over their faces. And he doesn't just look away. He asks this simple, compassionate question that just opens the floodgates. It's this one act of paying attention, of genuinely caring, that kicks off the entire climax of the story.
So they tell him their dreams, and this is just brilliant. It's like a psychic battle playing out. The butler's dream is full of life and service, right? A vine, grapes, the king's cup. But the baker's dream, his is all about vulnerability and loss. Baskets on his head, totally exposed, with birds coming down to just steal and eat everything. It's hope versus despair, playing out in symbols while they sleep.
Joseph listens, and with this unshakable confidence, he lays out the interpretation for the butler. The 3 branches, that's 3 days. In 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head, meaning he'll pardon you and restore you to your job. I mean, can you imagine the wave of relief? And in that moment of hope, the butler makes a solemn promise. He'll remember Joseph.
So then the baker, feeling encouraged, he shares his dream. But the tone, it changes completely. Joseph's voice becomes grave. The 3 baskets also mean 3 days. But in 3 days, Pharaoh will remove your head. The meaning is devastatingly clear. Execution. One man is given a second chance, the other, a death sentence.
So the 3rd day arrives, but while these two guys are sweating it out in a prison cell, the rest of Egypt is in the middle of a massive celebration. A huge event is happening, and it's going to provide the most public, most dramatic stage possible for their judgment.
Turns out, Pharaoh has a son, a firstborn heir, and the whole nation just erupts in joy. For 8 straight days, there's feasting, music, dancing. The court is a total whirlwind of celebration. And it's against this backdrop of new life and new beginnings that the fates of the butler and baker are about to be sealed.
And on that 3rd day,
Right in the middle of all the noise and partying, Pharaoh calls for his 2 former officers. The prophecies are due. The moment of truth is here.
And the outcome unfolds exactly as Joseph said it would. The butler's restored to the light of the court, the king's cup back in his hand. The baker is led away to his death. Joseph's words weren't just a good guess, they were a chillingly accurate prophecy.
Okay, so what happens next is absolutely crucial. The butler is free, he's back in his old job, back in the light of the court. He literally has his life back, all thanks to Joseph. But with that comfort and status comes a very, very human failure.
He forgot. The man who gave him hope, the man who only asked for the simple kindness of being remembered, was left behind. That promise, made so sincerely in a moment of sheer desperation, was completely swallowed up by the demands and distractions of his new life.
And the consequence of that broken promise is just so stark. 2 more years Joseph stays in that prison, forgotten by the very man he saved, just waiting in the darkness.
And what's so fascinating is how this story gives us this little perspective shift. While Joseph's story is basically on pause, history is still moving forward. Dynasties are shifting, new leaders are rising in other lands. The world doesn't stop for one man in a prison cell. It's this powerful reminder that a much bigger plan is unfolding, even in the silence, even in the waiting.
Which leaves us with this final thought to chew on. Joseph's ordeal was made longer by simple human forgetfulness, and yet those 2 extra years were somehow still part of his path. It really makes you wonder, if the ending is already written, then what is the real meaning of all that time spent in the dark, just waiting for the light? What is being forged in that silence?